some of our friends who are creators, people who are artists, people who are putting together comic books and things like that, but they don't have a platform.
Yeah.
So that's how back in 2014, the first in Central and East of Africa, we came up with Nikon. So we are majorly known for the Nairobi Comic Con, which pulls and brings together fans, as a Marvel DC fan or an anime fan, you love to dress up in cosplay, or you're a professional within that particular space as a creator and as an animator, 3D, 2D, or you are a writer and things like this. So we bring all these people together, all these stakeholders together, and partners that have been able to join in with us. I'd love to say that it wasn't as easy as it is, the pop culture community and the space has really blossomed. It was very hard for us because you were never taken seriously. You were like, what are you guys doing? It was a cartoon, and so it wasn't as easy starting off, but we believed in what we were doing and we had a vision. So Nairobi Comic Con is just one of the things that we do as Nikon. We exist for three main reasons. Nikon bringing together all these people together, during the convention. And that's showcase. So that's where we put together all this stuff, whether it's a cosplay competition or the esports competition. We are allowing people to be able to exhibit, because we are allowing people, creatives, to be able to we want to be able to tell their stories, amplify their voices, let talent be seen and get discovered. And number two, to enhance what creatives in Africa are able to do. So we are very strong in that as well, because we believe in building and growing talent in Africa. And that's why we put together workshops and panel discussions and trainings, really to be able to bring that out strongly, because there's a lot of talent in Africa. Our influence doesn't just fall within Africa. We've been privileged to influence a lot of our neighbors, within the East and Central of Africa, coming in out of Africa, and we've been able to have guests and participation. Like I remember at the last year's convention, we had a whole group of university students coming in from Uganda and Tanzania, exhibitors coming in from all over the region. In 2022, I think we had a representation of around 15 countries globally, just within Africa and out of Africa. And number three reason for us to exist as Nikon is collaboration. For us, we're very keen in enabling visibility, not just here, but global reach. And how can we do this? Through collaboration. We wouldn't be able to reach your audience here if we did not come and sit here and talk to you today. And that's a power of collaboration, really, at the end of the day. Not just for Nikon, but for the people that we represent. We are very big on the community that we represent at the end of the day. And it's always been about, the creatives and the people who we are representing, whether it's the cosplayers, how we growing them, game development, how we growing the game development in Africa. There's still a lot of challenges, but there's still, if you look at how far we've come, as Africa, as Kenya, it's not where we started, and so that's who we really are in a nutshell as Nikon. And I'll also talk about the main reason why we are here, which is the Barasa Awards, which for us is quite an honor, because it's a celebration of one of us, our co-founder, Barasa. When we started off, we were three of us. It was myself, a gentleman called Thomas, and Barasa. And unfortunately, we lost Barasa a few years back. And this for us is a way of celebrating him. It's a way of keeping his legacy alive. He loved comic books, as we do. He loved pop culture. And for us, we're really celebrating the talent that is in Africa through comics, because there's amazing talent of African storytellers, of African comic artists, and so we're bringing all this talent to be able to celebrate it. This is not our first edition. We've been doing this for a while within the convention. So it's just one of our ways to celebrate Barasa, but at the same time celebrate the talent that there exists in Africa.
Wow, that's awesome. So like in three main words, that would be your big three is showcase, collaboration,
and collaboration,
and the arts.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. So, every time I talk to Anne, we usually have this kind of professional thing going on where it's numbers, objectives, money, and I have to do it because she could, Nikon could sponsor us. Give us your money. But, with Lawrence, we have more of like a bromance going on where we meet in like informal settings and you know, we just go over you know, the pop culture in general. So you know, Anne has given us her perspective with Nikon, you know, as a co-founder.
Yeah.
But how has your journey in Nikon been, like from a fan to now one of the execs? So I should also start talking formally. Maybe the money can come from you.
Hopefully. Yeah. Okay. So my name is Lawrence, but I go by Larry. Part of the Nikon team. My journey with Nikon actually has been quite interesting because initially I started off as just an attendee, as a fan. I remember then I was still in campus.
Yeah.
So I was part of the like cool kids, the nerdy kids who like, you know, anime and, you know, pop culture that was mostly associated with like Westerners.
Yeah.
So one day we saw, I think it was 2013 or 2016 or 2017, we saw Nikon's event. We started now, you know, preparing. We didn't, that time cosplay wasn't as good as it is right now. So we just swept up like fabrics and came in as just, I think we came in as ghosts because we just pulled up sheets on ourselves and we were like, let's just go and be part of this community. Then the community was a bit niche, so we really bonded with like people because it wasn't as big as it is right now. So we really appreciated that sense of like a closed community. We know, I know Campus, I know Anne, I know this other person. Even if you meet in the streets, we know each other. So over time and constantly, you know, attending these events, personally I started growing like my own like horror community. So of course we didn't have a platform. We were just meeting up for like movies and, you know, just enjoying like classic horror movies in like Airbnbs. And then I think a couple of years ago, Anne from Nikon called me and was like, Larry, we saw you last time cosplaying as a horde of zombies. Is that a community? I was like, yes, we're not just those few people. We saw we're like a lot of people. What do you want? Like let's collaborate on something. And that's what I really appreciate about Nikon. It's really inclusive of like the horror community, because before we've approached other partners or other people who would help us in collaborating with something, but they're like, hey, Halloween is horror. It's just things that mashetani. You know, the Kenyan community, the Kenyan environment is so conservative. So and reaching out and giving us a platform was really good. For the last like couple of years, we've been part of them, and I officially joined the team, and that's something I really appreciate. Me and my people, we feel at home. Anything we say, we are not kept in terms of like the genre, and also other genres, other communities. I see them also, you know, having a similar like experience with Nikon. So yeah, I think it's really that was my brief journey in getting to be part of the team.
That's awesome. That's awesome, and it's testament to how invested the culture is in Kenya. Like you can just come from being, you know, a fan of the culture to actually being actively behind the scenes, making a difference in, you know, with Nikon, the people at the forefront in changing and showcasing the culture. So for anyone out there, if anyone is making you feel weird about being a lover of anime, manga, tell them to look at us. You know, which brings me to the aspect of, you know, our society right now in terms of African storytelling. And it's something that is like a main objective or like a main point or area for the Barasa Comic Awards. Because there's this feeling, you know, just like I said before, you know, the African storytelling is growing, or it's not so good, or it's, not up to the global standard. But here you are having an award show recognizing talent despite all the noise. So you've told us, you know, Barasa Comic Awards it's named after one of the co-founders, the late Barasa. And now, what was the idea behind it? You know, despite all the noise, despite, you know, African storytelling is not going anywhere. Why is everyone so focused on, you know, African storytelling? And, you know, it's just for Africans, you know. But here you are proving different, you know. So what gave you the encouragement and inspiration to go forward with Barasa Comic Awards?
So I'll just go back to our originality, you know, our original story. When you were putting together Nikon, it was not for the Westerners. It was for us. as Africans to be able to celebrate pop culture here at home. And as much as we're celebrating everything that we see and grew up with, early morning cartoons and horror movies that were not acted by Kenyans, music in a radio station right now.
Yeah.
We grew up with a lot of Western stuff. But with years, Africans were building. And that didn't just start. It's maybe the highlight of it. There wasn't as much as it should have been.
Yeah.
And so for us, we knew why we were doing what we were doing. And so for us, the focus has always been for us to be able to celebrate, yes, what we grew up with, yes, what we love, our anime, Marvel, DC stuff.
Yeah.
But really also highlight and focus on spotlighting what Africans are doing and what Kenya is doing. And so for us, with Barasa Awards is, a few years back, we only had a handful of African comic creators. Right now, there are quite a number. The stories are out there. And we've seen that with the growth. I love what he said. He came, he found a space where he feels comfortable. I've been told of people who've created things because they came to our conventions, they came to our gatherings. I remember we sat with UVC the other day, and I was like, I started what I'm doing right now as a result of coming to one of your conventions.
Yeah.
And so for us, just highlighting the stories that Africans are putting together to tell our stories. I love it when I'm flipping books and I'm able to see stories of the Luos, the Kambas, told in a comic way, in a fun way, in a comic book setup. And that's fun, for the community that we represent, which is the pop culture community. There's a way that they want to be able to consume content, and so it is important through comic books to be able to tell stories at the end of the day. And beyond physical stuff, we've partnered with Multiverse, and Multiverse is a one all-in-one creator solution platform that allows a creator to be able to thrive in what they're doing. So you can go there and sell your digital stuff, whether it's a comic book, whether it's an animation that you're putting together, whether it's a film that you're putting out, and it actually solves a lot of the problems that Africans are facing, whether it's publication or distribution, being able to reach a global audience from here, right here, back at home. So for us, it's the vision in terms of where we see and the possibilities that there are. We are constantly pushing. As Nikon, you're constantly pushing the boundaries and the possibilities that there are with reaching a global audience with what you're able to do back home.
You've mentioned, helping guys distribute and having their content being seen.
Yes.
I get this impression like anytime someone is coming up with an initiative or an event or an award show, there's the business element behind it, right? Whenever there's the business element, it means there's a gap that has been spotted. So would you say that distribution and, the recognition of African talent is the gap that you guys are trying to fill, and if not, what is it, that you guys are aiming to remedy in the industry?
Yeah, I love that question, because a few of the things that you're trying to breach is, number one, monetization. The talent doesn't not exist, it does.
Yeah.
But are people putting money in their pockets? Just a few names are actually making it. Quite a number of the talent that is there is not they're not making money.
Yeah.
So making money with Multiverse is one of the things that we're actually trying to do. Number two is distribution, and publication. So, a majority of the times you have to go through big corporations who might not even buy what you're trying to sell them.
Yeah.
This is a direct access way to be able to reach a global audience with what you're creating.
Yeah.
So we are addressing distribution, we are addressing publication, we are addressing monetization, trying to put money into creatives' pockets at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I remember there was a time one of our guests, we shot the same question towards him.
Yeah.
And his argument is monetization and, the distribution part of things hasn't, that gap is there because the audience is not seeing value in terms of African stories. For example, you have like what's hot right now. Say like you have Sinners, which was a movie by Michael B. Jordan that was talked about. When people see the movie, they see the value. The story is well told. People have invested in the production, in the acting, But with Africa, we're still trying to figure it out, and we want to force the audience, consume African content,
but the
instead
quality
of
is not good.
challenging the creators to give value, and so that the audience could buy. So I want to shoot this to Lawrence, maybe as where to make consume now. And you also said you came into Nikon as a fan.
Yeah.
So from the outside, looking in, from a consumer point of view, from a fan, do you feel that that's a valid argument, that as fans we are being told to consume African content, but there isn't that value in terms of the African stories being told? And would you feel like there's a need for that? Like, I need to hear the story of Londa Magera in a comic book.
I think that there are two ways I see that in terms of perspective. What I can say, firstly, yes, there is value. There's value in our stories. You can't say actually the value of Londa Magera's story is lower than the value of maybe Superman's or Batman's stories. Value is all perceived. It now comes to how you tell it. And granted, of course, the other markets have been in the game for long. They've experimented with what works. They know the different art styles. They know the distribution networks. So in terms of, I think as a fan, what majority people perceive as African comics being of lesser value is because the ways that these stories are being told are not, I'd say, up to date. Because being part of Nikon's team, I've seen like a couple of like upcoming content creators, not even content creators, let's say comic book artists, people who just are illustrators. They're telling these stories, but when you look at maybe, for instance, the comic book itself, there's a certain art style that it seems a little bit outdated if you compare them to what the industry standards are right now, and how also the distribution channels that they're using, they're heavily maybe, let's say, relying on traditional comic books like paperbacks. There's no marketing behind it to back it up. They are not visible maybe online. So I think that is what makes people perceive it as less value. But on the other hand, I love the fact that over time we're starting to gain traction. You can't compare I'd say the comic book industry with other industries in terms of it's still continuously growing. We've seen I remember, I think last year we partnered, I remember a couple of partners came in to Nikon in terms of teaching children how to illustrate, draw comics and all that. So we are getting the attention that we need. And the good thing is, actually, that's why I'm saying it's all the way up from here. Our stories have not been told to completion. I don't think there's any other Superman movie that will come up with a newer concept of Superman. But our stories, we've heard of Londa Magera, we've heard of maybe people from the mountain region. Their stories are there. It's just that they're not out there. We have the content. We just have to sit back, strategize in terms of let's look at how we can get these stories to these people, because
I love that. I love that,
because already whatever has been told by what we've all been used to consuming. So something new, and because we have content already, it's all a matter of just structuring, especially for new comic book artists or whichever genre or art work you're doing. Just think about not just presenting it to your audience. Tell the story, not tell the story of the story, but tell your story through the story, if that makes sense.
And I completely agree with him. I think very importantly for you to want people to consume your work is quality. Because and especially with millennials and Gen Zs, you can't just present your work however you think. It has to be quality stuff that I would want to be able to consume.
Yeah.
The reason why you're quick to go to watch a particular movie or listen to some certain music is because how it's been put together and how it's been told is something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
So quality is very important, but also very importantly is putting it out there. The reason why you're playing 80% of Kenyan music is because you want people to listen to it. You want to. There's an agenda behind it. You want to be able to have people listen to it and enjoy it at the end of the day because talent is there. So I think it's for people who are at a point of the ability to highlight Kenyan African content, they should be able to do it because the more you allow the consuming of foreign stuff without letting people know that there's actual talent that exists back here, then people don't have that knowledge. But the more you talk about it, the more you highlight it, then it becomes easier for somebody to look out for it and say, you know what, I actually see, I've seen, I've heard, and I actually like it. I love the story. I love the quality of how it's been put together. Then that way we're able to grow the industry.
And also I'd say, just to add on that, something important, like Kenyan creators, stop trying to impress right off the bat. Like just tell your story first, because I think I've met a couple of creators who, let's say for instance, they want to start animation, they buy the most expensive gear, the most expensive software, laptops that are running like high graphics, but then yes, they are good, but the audience will just see it as, it's good, but what is the story there? I mean, if I have an example, is like, look, I'd say for example, like look at Spider-Man, like Spider-Man 1, how it was told. Didn't have like intense CGI, but the story, the way it moved along, it was really good. And then over time now it was all about the spectacle. So if that's something maybe creators can learn to grow, just tell the story in the most genuine way possible. If you want to impress, if you have the ability to impress, do that. It just adds more value to your work. But don't get so fixated in trying to blow people's mind with that to a point whereby your story gets diluted.
Start with what you have.
Start with what you have, basically.
And I love that because you see, for a while we've been running the Animation and Film Festival within the convention, and our target has really been entry-level filmmakers to show you that you can actually do it with what you have. Use your phone. Nowadays there's so many softwares. You just need a good quality phone to be able to use. Capture the content, edit it, and then put it out there. So just starting with what you have is very, very key. And I'd also say, like as much as you're talking about Luanda Magere and all this, not all comic African creators are actually telling stories from back then. The people who are actually telling modern stories, everyday stories of modern day living, but in an African way, in an African setup. So they don't necessarily have to be traditional stories. When you think about African stories, there's modern stuff.
I have a good example of that. There's this comic book called The Matatu Slasher. It's like a Kenyan version of Jason Voorhees.
Yes. So when you think about comic books, African comic books, don't think about all those back. There's a lot of stuff that you can actually relate with modern times.
So I agree with you when you say there is value in terms of content, in terms of like the stories to be told, and the storytellers to be discovered. And I think we should put that on a t-shirt, the quote you said, like, tell your story through the story. Because that's how you find, like, there's Superman, but there's Zack Snyder's Superman, and there's James Gunn's Superman. Like, everyone has their own vision of the same character. It's just a different story.
How you tell it.
And maybe in Africa and in Kenya in particular, we have the problem of, like you said, the packaging and how it's portrayed and distributed. And I think I look at Nigeria, like where they are now in terms of the film industry. Like then they just started. Like however it was, and guys used to watch like
Afro cinema.
Whether you liked Afro cinema, whether you liked it or not, you knew it existed. And then now where they're at the point now where they're being Netflix produced TV shows, now the quality is higher. But at the back of your mind, this is you already know Nigerian movies exist. So I'd say that's where, from the way you're speaking, I understand it as that's where you're trying to get African creators to be. like people to first know that they exist.
Yeah.
And then now we could up from there,
Yeah.
So which brings me to thinking about the opportunities that are there. Because yes, first of all, the first step you've done is to recognize the talent. You've recognized the value that they can bring.
Yeah.
So what opportunities are you trying to open their minds to? Like, yes, you have the talent.
Yeah.
You have the value. People will know your name. And then from there, this and this and this will come your way.
Yeah.
Through Barasa Comic Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what are the opportunities awaiting the creators?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, number one, there's we are putting an award to it. So it's 100 USD that we are awarding to the best artists. We're awarding the best stories.
Yeah.
And we're also awarding, giving an opportunity for people to choose the, like people's choice category.
Yeah.
So, and that really is to draw more people to get to read these comics. Because, when you have a category like this, you have to let people read it and then now make that decision out of it.
Yeah.
But besides that, and that's what going by your question, what other opportunities that are there? I'll take it back to Multiverse. So Multiverse is an all-in-one platform that's addressing the many challenges that African creatives are currently facing. So as a platform, what they have is what there is you can sell digital products. You can be commissioned as a creator, as an artist, as a writer, as an illustrator, as a filmmaker. You can be commissioned for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Besides selling what you already have, whether it's in picture form or it's in video form. Okay. And then very importantly is also that you can also send newsletters to your fans at the end of the day. You can crowdfund. Tell me how many global or international crowdfunding platforms are accessible to a majority of the Africans.
Yeah.
Being paid by your own currency is another hustle. So that is another thing that Multiverse is actually addressing. That you can get money, whatever you're getting comes directly to you. Whether it's through M-Pesa or mobile money or directly into your account, something that's not available out there.
Yeah.
Very importantly is that you can also get tipped for what you're doing. You have a cluster page, and on this cluster page, of course, you're selling yourself, but somebody can actually tip you and you say, what, I love what you're doing. Here's my contribution to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we are allowing these creatives, besides uploading their works on Multiverse, get global access to the markets that are out there in Kenya, in Africa, and somebody from the US, somebody from Europe can actually see your work and buy it from wherever they are, and you're actually able to get your payments directly into your account, directly into your mobile money. So this is an opportunity for them to grow beyond their friend circles. And that's, I remember when we started off as Nikon, people started off as, I know somebody who does this.
Yeah.
I know somebody that we meet at a gaming joint and we play FIFA or,
and then you just come with whoever, that's how it starts.
Yes.
Even me was just like, there's this event I went to last year.
Yeah.
This guy's cosplaying, this guy's gaming, so let's go. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it usually starts with your own people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are allowing people not to come from that to people getting to know of your brand, because people are getting to know who you are, getting to read your stories, getting to appreciate what you're doing. You can, if you have a project that's coming up, you can crowdfund. You send a link to your people, put it out on the networks and tell people, what, I have a project that's coming up and I need your support. This is my crowdfunding campaign channel platform. So those are some of the things that we're actually allowing as opportunities to the people who are participating. And I'd say, as much as we are currently talking about comic Barasa Awards, this is not just a platform for comic artists. It's a platform for illustrators, it's a platform for 3D artists, 2D artists, animators, filmmakers at the end of the day. So it's a solution providing platform for creatives in general.
So the process is like, or maybe you could help just streamline the process. So I'm a creator. I sign up for Multiverse.
Okay.
I put in my details, and then my work is presented to an international audience. Is that the process, or what's the process like from onboarding to my work being seen and getting the money to my account.
Do you want to answer?
Yeah, I'd say it's the thing with Multiverse as a platform. It doesn't just avail you. See kama Gigi, yeah, creators. It's not like you just showcase your product and let the magic work. Like it sort of like pushes you to utilize the tools and resources to push your content. Like Anne mentioned, there's the email marketing campaign feature. There's a way you can push for donations. There's a way you can utilize the tools to commission work, crowdfunding. So it's not just putting your product there and then just sitting back and relaxing and waiting for the work. It push it. Of course, there's the reach and there's the audience
where the responsibility of Multiverse to put you out there.
Of course, Multiverse will push you out there, but then it's more or less once you join in, once you sign up, you have your creative works, place them there. Explore the tools and the resources that are there. See what works best for you. For instance, let's say you're an author. Okay, there's the publishing feature, so you can avail your comic books in PDF or as documents to your audience. If you have maybe, let's say you're a content creator, let's say you're a gaming creator, sort of live streamer, you can host even like workshops or sessions, live sessions on the platform. There's a course feature whereby you can list your, if you want to teach people how to play FIFA, you can create your own course there and be like, join in and let's learn FIFA, let's learn
and make money out of it,
and still make money because people are gonna, your subscribers are basically part of your community and they pay for your services. It's not something that you're just gonna do it for free. So I think it's more an all-round experience whereby you move with what your creative is and where your audience is aligned. And the good thing is it doesn't just limit you to like providing one piece of creative work. Like let's say you join Multiverse and feel like, okay, my comic books are really selling. I want to explore maybe teaching people how to illustrate. The tools are there. You don't have to leave the platform. You don't have to look for other opportunities out there. Just hop on it, push it through the email marketing campaign. If you want to connect with your network, your subscribers are there. You can see who's relating, who's gonna help you progress, build your network. So I'd say it's an amalgamation of like a lot of the different platforms that are there for creatives. We just nitpicked the really important like pain areas of creators and created a solution for that.
Yes. And that's very true, because at the end of the day, one of the ways that creatives lose money is because you're scattered everywhere. You're trying to send newsletters, you're spending money there. You're trying to get to campaign,
you are fundraising, you go to MailChimp, email, you go
to do a course, you have to have an account or masterclass or something.
Exactly. So this is a solution that's being provided to you at the end of the day to help you not get scattered. Your focus is on one platform and it's actually providing everything that you need at the end of the day.
So there's a lot of opportunity in terms of getting funding, in terms of marketing your product, selling your product, and also being like a thought leader to teach people on your craft, right?
I think maybe the word I'd use is sustainability. And the other thing that you're really trying to address is sustainability, because sometimes creatives will start on a journey and they give up on the way because the sustainability angle to it is not feasible. It's not sustainability for us is very key. So you're not constantly relying on funding, say for example, as you're starting your business off, your business, I have Multiverse to help me out. I'm actually making money, not just through one way, as it says, but through different angles at the end of the day. And they're providing me the solutions, they're providing me the tools and the softwares to be able to achieve what it is that I'm doing.
All right. That's really interesting. And I see how a creator would, I really see the opportunities in this. And now I'm putting myself in the shoes of the creator. Now, if I want to get in touch with you guys and I want to participate in the awards so that I get linked with, Multiverse, how do I get to participate? But we're going to take a short break, get into the music kidogo. For all those creators listening, just hang around. And when you come back, we're going to be telling you how you can actually take part in the Barasa Comic Book Awards, the Comic Awards, right? Not Comic Book Awards. Barasa Comic Awards, so that you can get exposed to all these opportunities that they've just highlighted for you. So leading us into that break is Ira Star featuring Rema with Who's That Girl, and we will see you. Hey, ancestors, karibu. We will see you after a short break.
Yeah.